It's been yet another busy and successful season for the Claflin Hill Symphony Orchestra. We are just over a week away from the finale performance of this 16th season of Claflin Hill. To get all the details on what the orchestra has planned and to look back on another great year of music, I sat down with director Paul Surapine. It all began back in November with the playfully titled concert Rogues, Rascals, and Rapscallions. After a total of 5 performances so far in their 16th season, the symphony year will come to a close on April 30th for Claflin Hill. Ahead of his group's finale performance, I asked Paul Surapine to reflect on the season to date.
You know, it was interesting because sometimes I'm afraid that we get too kind of pop music oriented, but we need to bring in new people. And, you know, the reaction from the orchestra was just overwhelmingly, like, excited. Like, they thought this was a great program for the whole year, you know. And in fact, all the programs had something of everything. You know, some big standards like Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet, Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet, Billy the Kid, Strauss's Till Eulenspiegel. We did Tchaikovsky Capriccio Italienne. But then we had like the Irish and Italian singers with us. We did Claire de Lune. So the orchestra has just been excited and engaged. And in fact, it seems like even though we always think it's a great orchestra, it seems every concert they're even greater than they've ever been.
Not only has it been an exciting year for the musicians of Claflin, the response from the audience and the Milford community in general has never been stronger.
Number one, we've had a lot of new audience members this year, lots of new season ticket holders, bigger audience sizes for each concert than we've had in previous seasons. You know, a bigger ticket sale income as you know, when you look at it financially, you know, how are we doing compared to last year? And not only that, I'm getting lots of emails from people post-concert, you know, a little commentary from them, you know. I mean, friends of ours who've been coming on and off through the years, but this year they've been to all the concerts. They told me that in an email that they liked it was actually the first concert, they liked it so much that they went home that night, opened a bottle of wine, and put on some more music. We had done Copland that night, and they wanted to hear more Copland, and they didn't want the night to end. They wanted to, you know, kind of revel in even more great music inspired by what we did that night. You know, people emailing me, talking about how they liked the way the programs flowed, you know, this piece, then that piece. I mean, it's interesting that it's kind of like we're creating a cultural dialogue where people get to email the conductor with their reactions to the concert after the fact, and I write them back.
With so many exciting and imaginative programs through this 2015-16 season, I asked Paul to break down what the group has in store for their finale concert.
It's called American Dreamscapes. And it started with the idea of doing a whole offering of songs from Frank Sinatra's, you know, life career. And then, you know, that said to me, well, it's kind of early 60s. There was that whole euphoria at the time, sort of, you might say. For a lot of people, that was kind of a golden age of the American dream, you might say. Camelot was a popular show at the time, and in fact, as we now refer to the Kennedy years as Camelot. So we could do music from Camelot. West Side Story was also a groundbreaking show on Broadway at that time, which actually, you know, now has become almost a morality play. So that together with the Sinatra, Camelot, and then, you know, it was pretty much almost the day the program brochure was going to go to the printers. Bernadette Stockwell, our development director, called me. I was on vacation. I'm sitting on a dock on Long Lake in Maine. It's like crack of dawn. I always get up early and go sit down by the water, and watch the sun come up and have my cup of coffee and listen to the loons. And she calls me on my cell and said, it's almost ready to go to the printers. I had an idea. There's this piece by Peter Boyer. We had done one of his works back in 2003 called Ellis Island. And she said, he wrote a piece for the Boston Pops a couple of years ago called The Dream Lives On, a portrait of the Kennedy brothers. And it's for narrator with orchestra. And it was like, okay, that's it. That is the perfect final piece of this program puzzle, and in fact, the perfect final piece of the whole season. It all comes together, and so it makes this concert not only, an homage to the greatest generation or to that time, but kind of, relive, and nothing could be more appropriate this year in a presidential election season, to listen to the words that inspired an entire generation, to community service, to patriotism, to what the dream of America is truly about.
As he continues to make preparations for the final concert of this season, I asked Paul if he could give us a hint for what he has planned for Claflin's 17th season, set to open this fall.
There's so much out there to do, we have a good 300 to 400 years of great symphony music to choose from. So, and I'm sure somewhere along the way, between now and August, all sorts of other ideas are going to pop in my head. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you mean to order this, and then you end up having the special tonight, and then you think, well, I'll come back another time and have that. So, stay tuned.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Coette. Make sure you check out full episodes of the Milford Informer on Milford TV. New episodes air every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. and then re-air frequently over the course of the weekend. Milford TV can be found on Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 38. And if you live in the Milford area and have an idea for a news story, you can contact us at news@milfordtv.net.